The rivers and waterways of East Anglia are part of Britain's largest protected area of wetland. The Broads include over 200 kilometres of navigable waterways, 6 main rivers and around 60 broads or lakes. The Broads were formed nearly 1,000 years ago, when peat was dug out to be used as fuel. As the water table rose, the open excavations became flooded and evolved into one of the most important aquatic habitats in Europe. This unique combination of open water, reed beds, fenland, grazing marsh and wet woodland make it a haven not just for wildlife, but a valuable sanctuary for people. More recently, centuries of drainage have modified some of this unique area. The larger bodies of water harbour a spectacular variety of plants and animals. The bird life is especially rich. Some species, including many types of waterfowl, are seasonal visitors. Others are permanent residents. Geese spend the day grazing on the nearby fields and water meadows and return to roost on the safety of the water each evening. Kingfishers live here all year round. There are plenty of small fish. Grey herons are extremely common. There's a constant supply of bigger fish too. Fish form a major part of the diet of the elusive bittern. Although they are shy and rarely seen, they are beginning to make a significant comeback in the region's reed beds. Well camouflaged amid the reeds, they are most often seen when they take to the air. The Broads themselves range in size from large expanses of open water to small pools. The majority are fringed in reeds, an important habitat for warblers and buntings. The sedge warbler and reed bunting are among the most commonly seen and heard. The bearded reedling is almost exclusively confined to the reed beds. Among the rarest inhabitants is the water vole. This species has, until recently, declined in numbers, the result of pollution, drainage and predation by escaped mink. It's now making a comeback. The Broads are one of its last remaining strongholds. Spring heralds a burst of breeding activity, especially among the amphibians. Common frogs head down to the water's edge after their long hibernation period. They have smooth skin, unlike the common toad, whose skin is dry and warty. They too are now ready to breed and head for the pools in large numbers. Some females arrive with a male already on their backs. Once she is in his grip, he is reluctant to give her up. Other potential suitors are gathering. These lone males may have better luck if they find a female before she reaches the water. These amphibians lay their eggs in huge numbers. our biggest newt is a great crested newt. It can reach a total length of over 15 centimetres. The male of this species develops a large crest during the breeding season. They are not common. They and the ponds in which they live are protected by law. As spring heads towards summer in the Broads, the reed beds become alive with insect life. Over 20 species of dragonfly live and breed here. There's a whole array of shapes and colours. They include broad-bodied species such as the chasers. Their coloration is more intense earlier in the season, when they've just emerged from their aquatic larval stage. The hawkers are some of our largest dragonflies, with wingspans of up to 15 centimetres. Like all dragonflies, they are active aerial hunters. Those enormous compound eyes help them find and catch smaller insects in flight. One of Britain's rarest dragonflies is confined to just a few places in East Anglia. The Norfolk hawker, although not as colourful as some of its cousins, is an impressive insect. Its uniform greeny-brown coloration helps it blend in well with the reeds. Early in the morning, they sit in the open like this, soaking up the sun's warmth. But the skies above the reed beds are home to some much bigger aerial hunters. The marsh harrier is the largest of the harriers. The female is a dark brown colour with a much paler crown on her head. The male is paler and much more uniformly coloured. East Anglia, and the Broads in particular, is the best place to see them in Britain. The Broads provide a home to one species that was hunted almost to extinction. Thankfully, the otter is now making a significant comeback after their legal protection and a restoration of their habitat. They feed mainly on fish, but will also eat birds, amphibians and other smaller mammals. They spend much of the day in their burrow or holt and playing on the banks. This region is a winter refuge for tens of thousands of waterfowl. The birds benefit greatly from the rich feeding grounds, and in the spring they'll head back northwards in good condition and ready to breed. It's not often that these grasslands become covered in snow or the open water freezes over. If that should happen, then the ducks and geese simply head for the coast, where salt water and brackish habitats are much less prone to freezing. In the evenings the skies are filled with the chevron-shaped skeins of geese as they travel between their feeding and roosting areas. Soon the Broads will be gripped by winter's icy chill, but they will burst back into life when spring returns again.